It is commonly agreed among scholars that evidence of rituals dating back to the earliest human communities can still be found today in certain folklore festivals in the Mediterranean region. In the remote village of Cocullo in the south of Italy, the statue of the monk Rocco is adorned for his feast day. The local people honor him as a saint who protects them from snake bites. The memory of a pagan rite is kept alive through this Christian procession. A rite that probably dates back over 3,000 years to the cult of the snake. A creature our most distant ancestors revered as a divine symbol of nature. In the same way, certain trees and forests were regarded as sacred. In the ancient world, particularly large and beautiful trees were honored as sanctuaries of the gods. And to cut them down was an act of sacrilege. To harm trees or forests at all was considered a grievous sin that could only be redeemed through complex ceremonies, like the fire ritual and its relative sacrifices. This prehistoric cult still exists in the village of Lamis in southern Italy as the mysterious and disturbing Festival of the Bonfires. In the longest night of the year, burning carts are dragged through the streets. The awe-inspiring procession of men and mobile bonfires makes its way to the spot where human sacrifices were once offered to the flames to atone for offenses against the woodland gods. What was once a ritual bloodbath is now a merry village festival. But just the same, it conjures up images of the distant past with its human sacrifices. A distant past that we would also like to conjure up by taking a journey to where the gods of the trees and woods still demand a purifying sacrifice from man who has offended nature by stripping the earth and destroying its vegetation. The earth's green zones seen as sacred areas, and where these beliefs or the memory of them still exist. In the last vast expanses of virgin greenery on our planet, where the sun rises and sets over mighty forests, untouched by the pollution of our industrial civilization and consumer society, an awesome 1,000-year-old silence reigns on. We can no longer hear the voices of gods and those mysterious creatures, elves, goblins, pixies, nymphs, and satyrs, that our forefathers believed were the guardians of the green world. Nature, in its almost religious grandeur, has created steaming tropical jungles and chilling northern forests. playing on man's awe or fear, it has inspired an infinity of myths and legends that all have a common basis of profound respect for the green world. Even in its most insignificant elements, like a liana or even an individual leaf. On the equator, as in the vast north, phantasmagorical forests and far-reaching moors reflect the splendor of their creation. Flowers that resemble drops of blood, and others that look like frozen jellyfish. All part of the intricate web of nature that cannot help but give rise to myths and legends, and give birth to traditions, beliefs, and unwritten laws that are still observed. Sacred duties that once governed man's relationship with nature. Everywhere from the deserts of Africa to the Black Forest, one basic rule applied. The Earth's green world was sacred. In the magic green of the oases, it was forbidden to cut down a palm tree unless 3 were immediately planted to replace it. These green pockets are as vital for man's survival in the desert as they are for the jinns, the spirits of the Sahara. In the Sierra Nevada in California, the Indians who lived in the shade of these giant sequoias, the world's tallest tree, believed that their dense green environment was the home of the god Manitou, who created these colossal trees so that they should live forever as eternal evidence of his greatness. These sequoias, in fact, are the sole survivors of an era of natural growth in our planet's distant past. In the slow passage of thousands and thousands of centuries of shifting land masses, the North America of today took shape, and all its life forms were involved in the massive geological transformation. The rocky landmass of present-day California twisted up to form huge canyons. And in these, during the Ice Age, prehistoric forms of life were slowly canceled out. The mammoths, the cavern-dwelling bears, and along with them, inland seas and an infinite variety of biological forms. Everything except the sequoias. Having found their ecological niche, these titans of the plant world have survived to the present day. The Californian sequoias are the tallest trees in the world. But the biggest tree in the world is to be found in Mexico. It too is sacred, and the many legends that have sprung up about it are passed on in the shade of its ponderous leafy boughs. This tree reaches a height of 40 meters. Its trunk is 20 meters wide, and its massive dome of leaves has a circumference of 52 meters. By analyzing the tree's internal fibers and its bark, botanists have estimated that this monster, the Taxodium mugronatum, is 2,000 years old, thereby ranking it as a veritable aristocrat among the trees of the world. In India, in the green filtered shade where 2,500 years ago Buddha was illuminated, the powerful roots of this sacred banyan tree threaten the solid stone walls of the temple that was constructed in this holy place. This giant banyan will die off and be reborn from the same roots, as if it were eternal. Another of the mysterious examples of the tenacity of nature's green world. Another tree of the same family as the banyan is found on the Greek island of Kos. In the shade of this tree, at the beginning of the classical age, there was a sanctuary to Aesculapius, the god of healing. Even the Arabs who invaded the island 1,000 years ago respected the self-generating tree in the center of the temple. And it was in the shade of spreading branches like these that Hippocrates, the father of the world's first doctors, taught his students. And today, doctors all over the world are linked to this tree by a sacred bond, the Hippocratic Oath. Tradition has it that the parchment scrolls of the initiated contained a minute piece of bark from this tree. Legend or truth? Whatever the case, it adds to the evidence that our forefathers revered the green wooded world that is now being annihilated by the folly of man. A suicidal folly, since the survival of our planet's flora is linked vitally to our own. We return to southern Italy to discover that the cult of the gods of the green world of the Mediterranean still survives in certain areas and provides the premise for some highly colorful local folklore festivals. Some of these annual events celebrate the pleasures of summer and spring, and others the mysterious quiet of autumn and winter, when the leaves turn and the forests become dark and gloomy. This is the season when man's enemies appear in the form of monsters, giants, and strange divinities. As portrayed by these huge stone sculptures in the woods of Bomarzo in the foothills of the Apennine Mountains. This 16th century collection of beasts and giants by an unknown artist was probably quite frightening 400 years ago. It is now a magical, poetic reminder of times when forests were believed to be full of supernatural beings. But the fears of winter soon give way to the joys of spring. The season of life reborn for nature and for man. As we continue on our way through the Apennines, the spine of Italy, we come to the little town of Sulmona, where ancient pagan springtime rituals have become a part of Christian Easter celebrations. The statue of the Virgin Mary is brought out of the church draped in a black robe that signifies mourning not only for the death of her son, but also for the death of winter. certain point, the black robe is snatched away to reveal the green one underneath, which, with the red rose in the Madonna's hand, represents the joyous rebirth of spring. Another look at this scene underlines the close connection between this symbolic event and the explosion of new life during the advent of spring. In the mountain village of Acetura, even more cut off from the outside world, we come across another springtime ritual, one that is quite unique in the world. The celebration of a most unusual wedding, the marriage between two trees. In a secret, thickly wooded corner of the forest that surrounds the village, a group of men, chosen from among the poorer families, is at work. On the first day of the festival, they have the honor of cutting down the woman tree, known locally as La Cima. Accompanied by music and singing, the bridal tree is carried to the village. On the other side of the valley, the richer men, and here a man with a pair of oxen is considered prosperous, have the task of felling the tallest tree in the woods, or one at least 25 meters tall. This will be the bridegroom tree, known as Il Maggio. And his marriage to La Cima will magically guarantee the success of the year's crops. The heavy trunk is dragged along winding cattle tracks back to the village. A difficult task that tests the strength of man and beast alike, and in so doing emphasizes the virile nature of the bridegroom tree. Meanwhile, the other team have brought the bride down to the foot of the valley. Now they can eat, drink, and make merry at the pre-wedding breakfast. While this is going on, For the best men on the other side of the valley, a dramatic moment has arrived. They have to decide which pair of oxen has earned the privilege of leading the procession into the village. And after all the energy spent during the morning, nerves are taut and tempers flare as each man tries to impose his own oxen. The violent quarrels are quite authentic, but are based on ancient rituals. In fact, as long as nobody gets hurt, the occasion provides an excellent opportunity for the members of this close-knit community to let off a little healthy steam. A kind of vaccination of violence that will, paradoxically, help ensure the peaceful continuation of village life. And sure enough, this spontaneous display of male vigor ends in hugs and tears. At last, the finale to the first day's celebrations goes ahead, and the giant phallic trunk is dragged into the village by 60 oxen. While along another street, the bride is carried in. But the pair must wait until the following day before meeting each other, when these cake-shaped baskets made of candle wax and sugar are brought from neighboring villages as wedding presents. And the statue of the village patron saint will be brought out to give his blessing. But just how exactly is this unusual wedding going to take place? A cut is cleft in the trunk of the bridal tree that will correspond to a wedge carved in the trunk of her bridegroom. The two trees are strapped together to consummate the marriage. Then the music explodes, and everybody dances around the newlyweds. For centuries, the inhabitants of this little Italian village have faithfully reenacted this pagan festival, the sacred union of two trees, simulating the human sexual act. A magic event that is aimed at bending nature's capricious ways to man's will, so ensuring fertility, fruitfulness, and favors. Historic and scientific interpretations of their festival escape the people of Accetura. The moment has arrived to attach numbered tags to the branches of the married couple. These will serve to make the leafy couple, once they have been stood upright, into the tree of plenty. The two trunks, now united and together well over 25 meters tall, are hauled upright. Once the difficult trunk-raising operation has been carried out, the village hunters, previously divided up into 5 teams, compete for the honors of the day by shooting down the tags. And finally, the most dramatic moment of the festival arrives. Displaying considerable courage, one of the villagers climbs up the towering trunks and unties the ropes that bind the married trees. An exciting climax that soon becomes an excuse for a daring demonstration of acrobatic skill. It looks like this old-timer is trying to relive the glories of his youth. Happy with his achievement, he then insists on risking his life to liven up the festivities. On the ground, more individual balancing acts entertain the crowd. At last, the newlyweds are alone, the united symbol of the eternal cycle of reproduction. And united, they have allowed brave men to reenact the tree-climbing ritual. Men who, for a few unforgettable moments, have been able to cast aside their mortal nature and come face to face with a magical mystery.